It also
That's right.
puts the Mist Dragon into play. If they encounter the Mist Dragon anytime during the run and defeat it, then Rydia's mother will appear in Mist with a key item.
That's right. And it looks like we're getting started right about now.
All right. Let's see what we're starting out with. Interesting. Okay, so our first item is a Curse Ring with Tel, and I believe, was that Palom?
That's Porum, the White Mage.
Ah.
My little trick for that is that the White Mage has the light green cape.
That's a good way to remember that.
If you can see their cape.
Yeah, that's true. It's a little fuzzy on my end at the moment. It's clearing up.
Sometimes if they're in the bed in Sandruby and Kaipo behind the Sandruby, you just can't tell.
Yeah, you see their little babu faces.
All right, pretty standard first play. Land right next to Baron and loot it clean.
Yeah, loot it clean. And in seeds like this, especially with kind of a, I don't want to say weak party, but squishy party. They're going to go after chests to try to get any early advantage. It is good to see that Fusia is available on the Baron Inn. That is a pretty obvious go-to choice for our runners to immediately go after as soon as they possibly can. Fusia is a strong starting out character.
Definitely, although the Baron Inn is not always the first boss fight most of our runners are going to go to. It is very tricky with two characters.
Yeah, they will very likely hit some other key item locations, very likely possibly see Mount Fabul, on the mountain near Fabul first, see what character they can get there, and grind up a little, just slightly before going into there, and, you know, get some additional treasures for that leg up.
And nothing much of interest in the item shop. Coffins can be useful, and exits also can be useful, but Porum's going to learn exit pretty quickly, and I think Tella starts with it.
Coffins can come in handy for early level grinding, so you may see some runners pick it up for that. Depending on where they end up grinding, Coffins can make that work out pretty quickly if you don't have any characters in the right place for some hard-hitting attacks.
And Coffins can also really help get you out of a jam if you find a really difficult non-boss bit boss. And what that means is that you have a boss that is typically a normal fight, then you can kill them immediately with the Coffin. I'm talking the Baron Guards and other such fights.
Yeah,
that is my one.
Mechalink, meanwhile, is making their way down through Damsian to pick up more treasure chests. And looks like at the moment, all of our racers are just in treasure grind mode, trying to get a little bit of leg up here at the beginning of the race.
Yeah, it's definitely a good play in this case. You want to be well equipped before you take on any bosses with these two characters especially.
Yeah, with a seed like this, especially with the V2 and other flags in play that we have, any early leg up, even some early grinding can really make for a good advantage in a race like this.
I would be curious to see if any of them do take a quick grind. Usually that would be somewhere in Ordeals, depending on who the third character is.
Yeah, oftentimes a lot of the choices that come to our runners is whether or not they want to wait till they at least have a party of 5. In some cases, they even opt to see if they can get some additional party members if they're not happy with what they have before they dedicate the time to grinding. But even with a not ideal party, or if you're looking into replacing some of those characters, it's oftentimes good to get a little bit of an early leg up. Looks like Revelin Bay, meanwhile, is making their way into Fabul, and we have Edward. He flat out says, "Nope, out of here."
That's not a bad choice. I mean, Edward, I haven't seen any super powerful bows, really, and that's the only reason to take Edward. Otherwise, sorry, Edward, you're a waste of time.
Yeah, at this point, it just mostly takes up space.
And I did catch Rosa is behind the Sandruby in Kaipo, so that's rather vanilla.
Yeah, that's good to see, and a pretty easy choice. Looks like Rexroll is opting to pick up Edward and is going to face Pale Dim.
I'm gonna take a quick look. Pale Dim is a very slow fight, not just because he casts slow on you, but because, actually pretty much because he casts slow on you. It's not the fact that it makes you slower, it's just how much time that spell takes. And you can see Rex has decided it's not worth it, and I would tend to agree. as Game Boy's pointing out in chat, it is worth some levels indeed if you do take an early boss fight, and that's why I'm not surprised to see Rex heading into Antlion. Get our first glimpse at the Troya item shops too. I haven't seen anything of much use. Oh, there's the pass.
Fortunately, in this seed, not going to be very helpful, but always interesting to see it. Those sirens could come in handy if they decide to take some.
I probably shouldn't be so surprised at that. There's no P flag, and so the pass is guaranteed to be in that shop. Well, I suppose it's not. It's guaranteed to be in a shop.
In a shop, for sure. Yeah, with one of the decisions the runners have to make, while skipping Pale Dim seems like an obvious choice, they do have to consider that they have Fusuya coming up as an obvious party member pick. So any bosses that they are able to take out is going to make Fusuya more powerful, have more spells. So that is going to be something they're considering when faced with a choice with the bosses.
Very much. I just saw that Kobahi got blocked by that lady in Choroya and exited out. It actually can be quicker to do that, which is very sad when it happens, but he just didn't even blink an eye. Right away.
NPC boss is worse boss.
Absolutely. And it's happening to Ravlin too.
Mecha making their way down through the Antlion Cave. Should be seeing which boss and key item we'll be facing here in just a moment. Rexroll now making it to the boss. And looks like we have Odin.
Oh, that could be tricky, but I don't know. I don't even really have a qualifier. That could be tricky. It looks like he'll have enough damage with Porum.
Yeah, Odin also being weak to lightning can get probably a little bit of decent damage out of Tello with that. So looks like should be able to take out Odin here if they can get him destroyed before he does his big attack. And Rexroll was able to take out Odin. Hopefully going to see our possible first key item of the run. And we did not. It is a poison axe.
Not a bad axe, but they don't have anyone to use it. Ravlin's meanwhile taking on the Baron Inn. The Dr. Luge is of course 2 fights in 1. And then we'll see who Fusoya turns into.
Definitely a reasonable choice by Ravlin. Getting Fusuya is definitely a good leg up. So
that could really speed up all the overworld bosses if he does get past. It looks like it's Kainaza. Okay.
So not too bad here, especially with the lit bold items he has. Should potentially make pretty quick work of Kanazo and get him access to Fusuya, which is really a boon at this point.
And unfortunately, I did see he reset out. That spot is a very hard-hitting boss spot.
Oh yeah.
If you haven't played or watched this randomizer before, all the bosses are randomized, but their stats are based on the location where they are. So, for instance, that spot is normally where you fight a very brainwashed Kane, and he hits like a truck, and it's just very, very hard. And that Kainaza would have one-shot his Tella next turn, no problem, and he wisely just reset.
Looks like Ravlin's opting to make the way to pick up Edward at this point and face Pale Dim. That's going to be a tough fight. We'll see if he resets here.
Desperate times.
Mecha, meanwhile, opting to face the Fubble Gauntlet.
I may have misspoke. So we're just going to say that, yes, I meant Yang. Yeah, he did reset. I'm not surprised.
I'm not surprised by that.
This is turning into a very tough opening, and if any time you have all casters opening, it is going to be tough. Alright, so Fabul was Rubicante. A single ice 2 or ice something definitely works him quickly, but only if his cape is opened.
And a good Boreas makes quick work of that, but unfortunately it is a diamond shield, so no key item in this slot either. this seed not pulling any punches for our runners.
This gets to be where things start to get a little tricky. We're running out of locations. With that K3 slot, I mean, you have Ordeals and you've got the 4 trap chests in Eblin Castle. Those are available.
Yep, that is true. This early game, those trap chests in Eblin could be tricky. And depending on the bosses and ordeals, they may be potentially facing an early game grind or more treasure hunting to get enough items to get them ahead. That is the unfortunate part with having Porm and Tella as the opening characters here. They're just really squishy.
Yeah, and there's not as many items that can really help them.
Yeah, and this slot really, looking at anything that can get them a leg up for Porm and Tella, that would be, ribbons, and for Porm a tiara, protect ring, anything like that could be very useful, but those are very specific items on a wide pool. Kobahi, meanwhile, making his way to pick up the late great Edward. Let's see if they opt to reset as well.
Gaia drums will help. Let's see. It should only be about 2 or 3 of them if I have my Mom Bomb spot, which is the Mount Hob spot HP, correct?
Unfortunately, only having the one Gaia drum, they're going to have to get a little more creative here. He's going to opt to use the dancing dagger to try to get some additional damage. That should be enough to do it.
There we go.
Rex, meanwhile, is going treasure hunting and checking some shops, hoping to get a leg up. All right. Kobahi getting Edward and able to pick up the rest of the treasures in Fabul. Opting not to, going ahead and exiting anyways.
Yeah, it can be kind of slow.
If I remember correctly from what item selection Kobahi had, should be in a good position for taking on Rubicons in the Fabul Gauntlet spot, so hopefully should make quick work of that. Rival and Bay, meanwhile, finishing off Rubicante in the Fabul Gauntlet. Rex Rawls dropping into Mysidia to check out what they have available. And I think Mecha is going to face the Baron Inn. Hoping to get Fusuya.
Fusuya with the right spells will definitely make a lot of this easier. But there's that F2 flag, so he's not guaranteed to have any useful spells.
But they do have some potential. They can drop into the normal Dragon Mist spot, the Octomom spot, try to get a little additional firepower for Fusuya if needed.
Yeah, and it would certainly incentivize Ordeals, not only for the 3 bosses there, but also for unlocking Tella's full spell list.
Yeah, at this point that would be pretty useful. While we're all getting hung up by the NPC bosses.
They're the worst.
Alright, with Boreas, hopefully can make quick work of Kinazo.
So it's important to note, Kinazo, or however you say his name. Can I call him? I just forgot his name.
Wartortle?
Yeah, that's much better. He's actually not weak to ice when he has the water up, as I recall.
A little bit of a gamble at this point. Can take a couple of waves to the face with Tella at this point, but really hoping to burn him down before Kinazo is able to finish him here.
Turtle Jerk works too.
Very good call out by Shala in the chat. Grim Warrior looks like he got Mist Dragon as a random summon. Hopefully we'll see that finish them off. Not enough.
Not what he was hoping for. So Remedy, if he gets it off, heals him for, I believe, 10% of his HP. So it heals him for 400. He's got 4,000.
And the big bomb does it. So Fuxia is in play for Mecha Link. That is going to be very useful this leg.
Oh, and the package.
And the package. So another potential character in play for Mecha Link. That is a fantastic pickup. And our first key item of the run.
Now, correct me if I'm wrong, I think I see Ravlin doing some grinding up on ordeals.
Yeah, it does appear to be the case.
That is one of the spots that you can grind in the overworld if, you know, things have gone poorly.
I think we'll quickly see Mecha opt to make a quick run to the Village of Mist here to see what's going on. Notice that party swap there, getting Fuxia out of the middle slot. That is some agility manipulation there, wanting to put the slowest party member in the anchor spot there, just to kind of manipulate boss agility slightly.
Yeah, and that Fuxia joins your party at level 50, so even though he has low agility for that level, at this point he'd be faster than everyone else.
And in the Mist Dragon spot, we have Antlion.
This should be
not
cool.
a bad place to face him. Little bit rough because of some elemental resistances, but should be doable.
So it looks like up on Ordeals, our first fight is going to be against Octomom. It's also not that bad a sight. There are definitely worse monsters that you can see up here.
Yeah, with the light bolts and lightning spells available to him, should be able to make pretty quick work of Octomom.
Once again, if you are watching Free Enterprise for the first time, the bosses are randomized. Their stats are set to be in the location where they are, but they retain their elemental weaknesses. So Octomom will always be weak to lightning, and so will, of course, Odin, as we saw. Looks like Kabahi is doing the trap chests in Eblin.
And if you are seeing this for the first time and are not familiar with Final Fantasy IV Free Enterprise, it is a randomizer of Final Fantasy IV that allows you the Enterprise in the very beginning of the game, which allows you to basically more or less go kind of on a treasure hunt, similar to The Legend of Zelda Link to the Past randomizer. A lot of fun. And if you want to learn more, just feel free to check out ff4-free-enterprise.com. We have a great community. We'd love to see you get in there with us.
Yeah, and if you do decide you wanted to do a seed, probably wouldn't start with this one. Maybe do something a little bit nicer. The Discord has some options for you. So
and there's some great presets in there as well to help you get started.
And there it is. The Discord's right there in the chat.
Shala got my back as always.
So I see that Kabahi is using I did see him buy all those hourglasses. Those stop all the enemies. Of course, it's not really helpful in boss battles, but against these trap chests, it's going to make, or will not make quick work of them, but at least allow them to be killed.
And Mecha Link picking up Sid in the package spot. That is a fantastic grab, finally getting a good physical character in play. Also has some additional levels, so pretty helpful at this leg of the race, and we'll give them another boss here once they go into the Kaipo Inn, which is going to help Fuxia's abilities. Ravlin, meanwhile, clearing another boss on Ordeals.
This is the tricky spot. Oh, it's the entire
full gauntlet.
Full gauntlet, all back attacks. That is not what you want to see.
Nope. That is a little bit rough. Is doable as long as Porum doesn't tank all these hits. Well, actually, it looks like it might want Porum to take those hits. But going to have to deal out some damage pretty quickly or potentially looking at a reset. Fortunately, because of the grinding, did learn Cure 2, so that is paying dividends for Ravlin at this point. And Kabahi making their way to Eblon Cave.
I'm gonna agree with Demery.
Eblon Castle.
This is not the dream.
No.
None of this has been the dream.
Making quick work of the boss here in Kaipo.
That looks like a pretty vanilla fight, too.
Yep.
Kaipo is just the land of vanilla.
Seems to me. Going to be interesting to see what Kobahi runs into here at Eblon. The trap chest could be a little difficult to handle for their party. Looks like he's opting to teleport out before finishing the chest's run. Or is just using it to get to the castle even quicker. That's a smart move. All right, looks like we've got one of our first trap chests for Kobahi. 3 Mad Ogres. That's a pretty rough fight for this party configuration. They'll have to deal out damage pretty quickly to get ahead of that.
It doesn't look like he did. I don't know if he saved in that brief exit. Oh, he got the hourglass off. That's definitely... That was a little close.
Yeah, a little close call there.
And I see Rex going up the Tower of Zot. He can face one boss and he can open all of the chests, but he cannot complete it. He's probably hunting for a key item in one of these trap chests. There's only one. And there it is.
Getting his first trap chest, and it's a flame dog. That's pretty powerful enemy, but should be pretty doable with the Boreas they have on hand. Really tough to call who's in the lead at this point. It's really anybody's race. Potentially Mecha could have quite a bit of a leg up, just based purely on their party, should be able to get through the next leg of the race pretty quickly.
Yeah, Mecha's definitely gotten pretty good at with all these characters. He's in a very good spot. Rex and Ravelin do not have the same character advantage. Kobahi also does not, of course, have Fu, but I don't know. They seem to be managing all right.
Doing all right, but those 3 party members are pretty squishy, so it's really going to make some fights pretty difficult. Especially Edward, he can barely take one physical attack. Bouncing that Boreas off pretty quickly, was not able to take them out with it, so can use another one. Took out the Black Cats, the Lamia remains. Hope to take it out with an arrow, it wasn't quite enough. Opt to use another arrow here. Ravelin, meanwhile, making their way into the Ordeal's Temple Paladin spot.
That looks like Bahamut. The good news is that this is a very low HP spot, so it's not the end of the world if you, say, see the King of Dragons here.
Yeah, could definitely be worse places to face it. Normally, in these cases, without having something like Star Veils available, could really be worrisome. Going to pop a Moon Veil just in case. What'll happen there is if he's not able to burn Bahamut down in time, maybe opting just to wait it out, bounce the Mega Nuke off of Porum and back at Bahamut. It's like opting to say what items he has and just bounce that Mega Nuke.
And that does it. Bahamut hoist by his own Mega Nuke.
Kobahi getting that magma key, it's really going to open up the map for Kobahi. They're able to make their way now to the underground. And Mecha Link, thanks to the character selection and levels we've gotten at this point, is making pretty quick work of Ordeals.
I did see, actually I guess it was Rex was looking where to go, but so far I think only Kobahi has tried to go to Eblin. K3 is a difficult flag to be on. You really do need to know where all the trap chests are, and you have to know how to fight battles that, frankly, you really shouldn't be fighting at your levels.
And quite frankly, too, a lot of us right now are we're in league hype mode. We're all practicing for our free enterprise league that we're all participating in, the qualifiers. So we're practicing and running those flags on a regular basis. It kind of gets you in a little bit of a force of habit for some of the places you're running, not normally going after those trap chests.
Yeah, that's true. The trap chests are not in play in the league flags. What we commonly call the league flags are the league qualifier flags, but they're a good set of flags. They're quite enjoyable. They're not these flags, though.
Yeah, they're definitely a good middle ground flag, but something like this can be potentially a lot more difficult and more time consuming. And definitely there's obviously some different strats at play.
Indeed, and I see that Kabahi is going to do a little bit of omelet grinding using those sirens that he bought. I don't remember which shop had them, but one of the shops had the sirens, and he'll be able to get some eggs, beat them up for a cool 34,000 experience each.
And potentially grinding up a little bit to better handle the dwarf castle, hoping to get a character and possibly a key item. Rexraw, meanwhile, having a little bit of difficulties with Kanazo here, may have to reset.
I don't blame. That's a very difficult fight. Thankfully, he will get a little bit of a reprieve with the turtle in his shell. I'm going to say that Toria did have the sirens, because I believe it was the past shop that had them.
I do believe you're correct.
Oh, there goes Porum. Yeah, that's a reset.
Fantastic Shalakini in chat giving us a call out there. A lot of the great graphics you see us use, like on our stream here, and the tracker icons, brought to you by Shalakini. She's fantastic, so definitely give Shala some hype in our chat.
So I'm noticing Kabahi is skipping all the potentially trapped chests. Did he already find it? Or is he going to do that one later?
You know, that could be a pretty tough fight with the party he's got, so maybe holding off for now.
He did find the Bahamut summoning crystal, only useful if he finds Rydia too.
Yeah, will be really useful if they find Rydia, which, who knows, it might be hiding in a dwarf castle. Mechalink making quick work of Bahamut with a virus. Rextral, meanwhile, facing off Baron in. Looks like Rival and Rex having a little bit of issues here trying to take down Baron in. Kobahi dropping into the summon spots just to check, maybe see if Mist Dragon is hanging out there.
Well, they do both have spots. It looked like it was the Dark Elf, or they both have items, I should say. It looks like it was the Dark Elf, and I didn't catch the other one. It could be the Water Hag, I think.
And Venerable in chat asking if there's any other commands from the commentary booth. Don't give me that kind of power, Inven. I will go mad.
Yeah, please don't. He's got enough as it is.
Yeah. Megalomania hype.
I don't think that's this game. Man, after all of that ordeals, just getting a Gaia drum.
Yeah, a little lackluster. It's what you run into a lot with this seed. Go by, you making a little pit stop to do some item shop hunting, sell off, clean up his inventory, and potentially pick up some useful items.
And we all know that the key for this is in Eblan Castle. The sooner that they can get over there, of course, again, with our laser focus on those League flags, ordeals does seem very tempting for the key item. And yeah, Rex would, or rather, Ravlin would know that this would also unlock Telespell set, and it will also give Fu a few more abilities for if they do get through that Baron fight.
Yeah, at least getting through ordeals, Tella's going to go from being fairly useless to only slightly useless, and that's going to be pretty useful for our runners.
If they find a single Soma drop, they can use Meteo. Meteo? How do you say that?
I'd say Meteo, because I feel like it's just Meteor, but they ran out of letters.
Yeah, that's what I would say too. Which makes it, when they have the character space, and Golbez is like, use the Meteo! Unfortunately, it doesn't happen in this randomizer. Rex is very close. Everyone in chat, give him your best energy.
Come on, Rex, you can do it. Kobahi also making their way to Baron Inn, hoping to get some of that Fusuya hype.
Mecha's taking on another completely optional boss in the randomizer. Just gonna get another bit of spells and power for Fu.
Yeah, and Fusuya
dragons
paying dividends again, making this an easy boss fight. And it's really showing here, just getting that early Fusuya here, what an advantage that Mecha has. They already have a full party. They have a Fusuya very well ready to go. High level, high HP, tons of spells. Really just opening up the world here to Mecha Link.
Yeah, and let's see if Mecha makes the play. And yes, Mecha's
Straight
making the play.
Not many other options at this point.
As Scala did just point out, it is Do the Medio, which definitely is a flash animation that someone made back in the 90s. Or maybe early 2000s.
It really is the hottest lunar dance craze.
Absolutely. I mean, when you use it, there's just all these disco lights that go flashing. It makes a really cool sound.
Where's Fusuya right out, turns him into a mop.
Yeah. One could say it makes you melt into the floor.
Rex Ronald making his way through Baron Inn, picking up a package and Fusuya for his troubles.
Very good. Very good job, Rex.
Ravel, meanwhile, making their way through Antlion. Unfortunately, looking at some disappointment here, but should make quick work of Odin.
Just like any rando, you'll always be kicking yourself if you don't check every spot.
Yeah, and some of our own featured runners in the past can definitely tell you, don't forget Antlion.
No. That's never happened to anyone before, now has it?
Cough. Alright. Mecha Link making pretty quick work of the trap chests here.
Now, Mecha Link does not have to rely on hopefully getting an hourglass off before taking them all out. Mecha Link can just use Fu's overwhelming power.
Yeah, at that level, Fusuya can tank hits better than even the physical fighters in the party, and can dish it out. So Fusuya making all the difference here. Kobahi making the time to get some power built up for Fusuya, going to face the Mist Dragon slot, which is Antlion.
Yes, and that's definitely going to help out with some more spells. I haven't been keeping up with Fusuya's spell list to see where he is on it, but given Fu's power level on everyone else's, or at least HP, I think Kobahi is quite far behind as far as it goes for Fusuya's power, mostly from not having done ordeals.
Does have at least some decent spells available. It could definitely be better, but every little boss here is going to help, and has some potentially easy bosses ahead, like the Kaipo Inn that's coming up here as well. So
yeah, with Fu in the party, any overworld boss is going to be fairly simple, unless you count the Eblin bosses, or at least the battle overworld as overworld. Thankfully, no hook in sight. And with the magma key, I doubt they're going to do that. But you can never count it out. There is one trap chest.
Never know. We also do have... Oh, no, that's not correct. We don't have Baron Key yet, so... I will correct myself.
Yeah, we have Kobahi and we have Mecha Link, who both do have the magma key. We've seen Kobahi check out a little bit of the underworld, but has not done much beyond the non-fighting portions of Sealed Cave. So we don't know what's down there. I said Sealed Caves, and I did mean Land of Summoned Monsters.
The Land of Naughty Summons. Definitely got some trap chests available.
The Land of what?
The Land of Naughty Summons.
Can we call it Fame March?
Sure.
mean, it's kind of like a party down there too. Everything flashes as you walk down.
Yeah, total seizure alert.
They're definitely doing the Medio. No, okay, Medio is
I don't know. Medio dance kind of sounds better.
It does. And Medio definitely is a cereal that someone eats.
Medios.
Delicious.
Medios. It's rather bland. Alright, Kobahi facing the very easy Kaipo boss here. Should make pretty quick work of it. Rexroll right behind him, picking up Sid. Mechalink meanwhile making their way down to the underground. Ravlin, also having finished Baron N, will likely be making their way to Kaipo. Or I should say Mist Village and then Kaipo.
Yep, and then they'll pick up Sid too. And one of the things about the package, it is quite a lengthy cutscene. But
yeah, that is the unfortunate part about it. At this point, with not many advantages being inside, it is just a sacrifice our runners are willing to make.
I do believe every single one of them has now picked up Edward. Nope, Rex hasn't.
I don't remember if Ravlin did either. I think they might have.
Actually, now that you mention it, well, we're about to see.
Yeah.
But no, I think maybe Kobahi and Mechalink were the only two who did. And here I was thinking that people were finally warming up to the Bard.
Well, there is a little bit of an experience boost if you have a full party. So for even just for filling a slot and being somebody to take a hit, there is a little bit of worth there, but it's limited.
Yeah, and I mean, Edward's not called...
not having Edward.
Yeah, no Edward. He's not a fan of the colloquially known as Deadward.
And Kobahi now making their way up ordeals for the first time.
And so now we have Mechalink looking through the dwarf castle. I don't remember Kobahi doing this.
Yeah, they opted to skip it, which we got some Bacchus wines and some cabins here, so some useful items from Mecha. And we'll see if they opt to take on the boss here or not.
Given Mecha's party, it wouldn't surprise me if they do.
Depending on the boss, it could be a challenge, but with Fusia being the great equalizer here, they definitely stand a chance.
Mechalink is giving us all a guided tour of the dwarf castle and how to get all of its treasure chests. Not always as easy as it looks. Or maybe not all of them.
Most of them. May make their way back inside too, just using that exit to make a quick way in and out of the castle.
Yeah, safety save for sure.
Yeah, looks like he's going to opt to face the boss here. And the NPC boss strikes again, blocking the stairway.
Wow.
Hate to see that.
And when they did the text update, some of the worst NPC bosses did get some flavored text pointing out how much of a boss they were. I missed who was jumping around over there. They're wearing blue, whatever it is.
Yeah, I didn't catch it either. Hopefully not Golbez.
Nope.
This potentially could be a few different enemies.
I believe this would wind up being Water Hag, because the only other one that uses that sprite, I think, is Federal Gauntlet. Yeah, Water Hag.
Yeah, I think the other one's red. Yep. Water Hag, very easy fight to have in this slot. So couple attacks and we'll be out. And on to the next boss. Kobahi making quick work of ordeals. Ravlin, meanwhile, finishing up Kaipo, making their way back to the airship. And Rex making their way up ordeals.
Yeah, the Water Hag is a scripted fight, just like when Edward faces Water Hag alone. All you have to do is hit it 3 times, listen to Anna cheer you on, and it goes down.
Yep. Ravlin, meanwhile, could be potentially heading up Zot.
Oh, I just saw a nuke for Fu.
That is a good spell to get. Yep, Rivalin is opting to go up Zot.
Oh, he's gonna get Kane.
That is a great replacement for Edward.
You can see he went right to Edward, not even a thought.
Oh yeah, this is one of the biggest speed strat you can get is how quick you can get rid of Edward.
Oh yes. Best Dark strat is to not get him at all.
Exactly. Dark Imps here should be pretty quick work for Fusia.
Dark Imps are an interesting find. They're pretty low HP, especially in this spot, so they should go down. One Quake ought to do it. Unfortunately, Kane did die, so he's not going to get the experience from this.
Yeah, that is unfortunate. That is a big scoop of experience at this point, especially for a low level.
Yeah, and because of the flag X2, which we do usually play on, low-level characters do get a bonus if the rest of the party is a high level. So he would have gotten a hefty chunk of bonus experience from that.
And getting our cameo appearance from the Infinity Gauntlet, deciding to slink its way over to the crystal here.
It's not an Infinity Stone. We just take a moment to remember just how terrible Cecil's party is. They couldn't stop a disembodied hand from stealing a crystal.
Just stared in awe. Should have been eating their Meteos.
Oh, more Meteos needed for sure.
Yeah, it looks like did not get a key item there. It was pretty quick, so I didn't quite catch if it was. I saw an L. It may have been a light sword or the legend sword, but it was not a key item they're looking for.
On K3 is a lot of things it could be. Oh, the Avenger, maybe?
I believe they already had that.
Okay.
Well, I could be wrong.
The Avenger makes having Kane a very good find. The Avenger is a sword, which our dutiful tracker noted that it is a ninja shirt. Thank you, Melee Wizard, and thank you so much for keeping an eye on things for us. Ninja shirt. So that's most powerful. No, not most powerful. Power robe would be the most powerful melee robe type. But it's, one step down from that is the ninja.
Definitely not a bad grab.
So right, as I was talking, the Avenger sword automatically berserks and gives an agility boost to whoever uses it.
It's a great find for Kane, makes him very useful early game. And the only caveat is with certain bosses, they have a lot of counter abilities. So you run into certain cases where having Kane with that Avenger can kind of bite you, and you have to, knock him down to keep him from getting your whole party wiped. Something I've seen some runners do recently is keep the Avenger sword on hand, depending on the boss, and then equipping it mid-fight. That's really just runner preference.
If you do equip the Avenger in mid-fight, there are some bugs that can work to your favor. Specifically, that's most often used if you have a better weapon in hand and you equip the Avenger, you'll keep the power of your original equipment and get the berserk effect of the Avenger. It can be super useful.
If I'm not mistaken, too, depending on the weapon, if it's good in the back row, you can also keep Kane back rowed and then switch to the Avenger, and he will still do good damage from the back row.
Ah, yes, it's a lot of these little tricks.
All right, Mechanly making their way into the Sylph Cave, facing some of the trap chests here and making a quick dive on Yang.
The Toad Lady has something to say about this quick.
Doing some quick airship maneuvers, probably thinking out their next strategy.
Ravlin. Ravlin's got the magma key in hand.
Potentially a little bit of frustration setting in for Gabai here. Making their way down to the Dwarf Castle is a good call.
Notice Kabahi has got Edward out in front. I don't think he's saying anything with that, though.
Probably just hoping to quickly replace them with a potentially good melee fighter here.
Well, his wish will be granted, I'm sure. I'm noticing Kabahi and Mechalink are using a very similar route through Dwarf Castle. Go left, check the item shop, check that pot, go down, or check a couple of chests or pots down there, and then go up and only do the right side. We'll see if Kabahi goes left too.
It is a very efficient route.
No, Kabahi is going to go left. Okay. There is a balance in this randomizer about which locations do you check. Obviously, everything costs time. And I know if I'm not hurting for equipment, I'm not going to check these chests.
Yeah, you really have to, the constant decision making is this worth the time? And that is always going to be a factor in any of these things. Even, you know, going into later game dungeons, there's a lot of tempting chests laying around. Is it worth the time to grab them? And if you're good on items, really there isn't much reason to. You really just want to rush the clock.
That's right. And I find that that's one of the easiest ways that you can reduce your time. If you're, say, playing the League flags, maybe quit opening chests when you know you're good. That's just one piece of advice, and since this is K3, quitting opening chests is not an option. So we're going to see a lot more chests than we would in the League qualifiers.
I feel like, you know, chest hunting is almost kind of just a Final Fantasy staple. That's just a hard habit to break. You know, you see a chest, you want to grab it.
Oh, yeah. Oh, yeah, of course. I did see Ravlin tried to drop a siren down the well. Happens to me every time.
The well very unaccepting of sirens, waiting patiently for just a random key for some reason. And Kobayi making their way now through the dwarf castle.
Yeah, Kobayi's going to get these two. Actually, I would be very glad to see these fights in any of my runs. So we'll call these pretty softball fights. Water Hag being an event fight, and then Dark Imps being a normal enemy that you can wander outside of the dwarf castle and fight in the underworld, should you so desire.
Yeah, and Mechalink, meanwhile, in the Sylph Cave here, is worth noting that while you know, potentially possibly getting some key items from these spots, the other advantage too is levels. You know, these are really good experience spots.
Oh yeah, absolutely. You can get a lot of experience from this and get some HP pool on your characters. Sid especially is gonna pretty soon rise above Fusoya as far as HP goes. Let's see how fast Edward is out. And he's out.
And gone. Rex, meanwhile, looks like they've finally made their way to Eblon and are facing down the trap chest there.
Yeah, I'm excited because we do get to see different strats from all of our runners. We had Kabahi, who went to Eblon very early with hourglasses and sort of threw Boreases at them until they all sort of froze in place. And then we have Rex, who has a lot more spells at his disposal than Kabahi did. Rex is throwing, looked like Saya's spells. Good tactic.
Yeah, and Rex finally getting the Magma Key. It's definitely going to be useful for him. Yeah, Rex had a little more trouble with the bosses, but the advantage to that was some grinding went into place and has Fusia in a good place to really take on the next leg.
Yeah, I would say that most of our runners are getting to a good place now so that they can all start their treasure hunt for sure in the underworld.
Definitely seeing some convergence here in the underworld with what a lot of us kind of refer to as the gauntlet. As soon as you get to the underworld, a lot of us like to check the land of summons first, and you know, just in case we potentially get a pan, and then typically follow it with diving the Sylph Cave, and sometimes shortly after the Dwarf Castle. The one thing here being the challenge of the harder fights in the trap chests in the Sylph Cave and Summons Cave that come into play.
That's right, because
can be a test for our runners.
Yeah, it's a lot more difficult to go through when you know you have to fight these trap chests. especially you can see most of our runners have been using float in both Feymarch, or the land of, what were you calling it? We're just going to call it the Medio. I see Melee Wizard asking what Mecha got from Sylph, and I do believe Mecha got nothing from Sylph.
I did not catch a key item while he was going through that.
He did talk to Yang, and I can see that Mecha is going to go talk to Yang's wife, Sheila. One of the things that you can do is you can talk to Yang, and then now you know he's in the underworld. Go tell, just let his wife, Sheila, up in Kabul know. She hands you a key item, or in this case, who knows?
Yep. A quick look through Mecha Link's inventory. Fortunately, here it can show that there was no key items grabbed.
See, Ravelin is using a different strat for those tiles called the epilepsy warning. I would imagine, Ravelin is not going to open any chests.
Yeah, it's just opting to check for the key item first. In the land of summons and Sylph Cave, there are tiles that will damage your party unless you have the float status active. The unfortunate part is that it wears off in every floor and takes a lot of time to recast. So more often than not, we just opt to take the damage instead.
Especially when you're not running with trap chests. You just walk in the cave and don't check any chests.
Mecha Link getting the pan from Yang's wife in the Manila spot is going to dive the Sylph Cave again real quick to give Yang a good old whack with a pan.
I'm curious now to see if Ravelin decides to take on one of those summoned bosses. Both of them do potentially have key items, both the Vanilla Leviathan and Vanilla Ashura spot.
Yeah, I would be a little surprised if they take him on at this point. Would definitely be worth checking. Wouldn't be surprised if we see him check, but that's going to be a potentially hard fight. Fusia will definitely help, but those are pretty hard-hitting spots, especially one of them being Dark Elf.
He's considering it. I can see it.
He's going for it.
Ravelin. Everyone send Ravelin energy.
Ravelin hype.
Mylan.
This could bode well if he plays to the elemental weaknesses properly. Could possibly make quick work of this fight. A lot of the attacks here are at least not very hard hitting, just using Drain and Light 1.
Now, did any of them keep their curse string? Because if so, you can effectively nullify Mylan by equipping the curse string. It makes you absorb elements. I don't think any of them did keep their curse string. That's unfortunate.
It does not seem to have it equipped, but getting Bahamut there. That is fantastic luck. Making quick work of the gas surrounding Mylan. A couple quick spells should be able to finish Mylan. Mylan having a lot of HP in this spot, and countering with Light 1 is not going to do much damage, but it's going to take a couple attacks here to take down.
Or maybe more than one medium.
Oh yeah, no, I don't remember the exact, but I believe it's at least 20,000 HP in this slot.
Well, it's a good thing that both Fu and Tella have pretty high level spells.
Definitely going to be useful.
Meanwhile, we did see that Mecha Link gave Yang a good old thwack on the head with the pan. Didn't see him get for it. And Fusia getting KO'd there by a quick physical attack from Mylan, which will be really the only thing to look out for damage-wise. Going to need to get Fusia brought back up, or is at risk of losing this fight. So close, too.
Yeah, if he has any illusions on hand that could, put blink on his party members, that would be a definite good move. Obviously checking for it now. Does not have any, but going to use some fire bombs. Probably won't do a lot of damage, but every little bit will hurt. Really just needs to get Fusia back on his feet.
Yeah, we can see Rex.
That is not great. Yep, opting to reset there. That fight is definitely doable for him if he can go into that fight and get a blink off on Fusia. He should be fine. Looks like opting not to take on that fight for now.
I can't blame Ravelin. It's very difficult spot down there, and Ravlin does not have a full party yet.
Yeah, it could be potentially pretty time consuming. And I'm not sure that Fusia knows nuke yet, so
that's right.
His configuration, so that it's going to.
Yeah, I saw Ravlin use Meteo, and I wasn't using it for breakfast, so. The only reason you'd use Meteo is if you do not have nuke in a single target fight.
I'm opting to go on for some grinding now.
With flags like this, since you only need one key item for the colloquial known as go mode, then it makes sense to do your grinding whenever. You're not likely to have 10 key items, and you don't necessarily need to grind, depending on who is in the giant boss spots.
Yeah, that's very true.
Doing it with 4 characters is probably not optimal, but I mean, Ravlin hasn't checked Dwarf Castle yet, or else Ravlin would have Kane.
Mekali Kenkobahi getting the crystal key item, which would be really useful if we weren't running giant percent.
Yep, and here all the crystal lets you do is take up a key item slot.
It is just a shiny bauble.
If anyone here does run V2 is what this flag is, I do recommend going to visit Zeramis. Bring tea.
Definitely a fun Easter egg. Alright, meanwhile, our runners are somewhat converged at this point. Ravlin is opting to get some grinding out here, making some omelets. Kabahi and Mecha finishing their way through Sylph Cave, getting all the chests that they can grab. Rex Rawl, meanwhile, is finished up with Dwarf Castle. Going to do some quick shop checking, grab some treasures, and then probably do the gauntlet through Summons and Sylph Cave. No, Co. Green tea.
I like green tea. But I like coffee too.
Some people like coffee.
I think the question is, what kind of coffee would Zeramis like?
Guess it depends on his palate that day.
That's true.
I got jokes.
Bring them on.
Alright, goodbye. You get another trap chest here, getting some ghosts for his trouble. Not a bad fight, a little bit slow because it's throwing out a lot of fires, but decent experience.
I think that's the worst part of this ghost trap chest fight. You can also get it when wandering around if you have encounters on. Each ghost casts Fire 2 at the same time, so if you see them start to do it, you know you're going to get 6 Fire 2s. That's not a lot of fun, not necessarily because of the damage, but just because of how long it takes.
Just time consuming. Yeah, it looks like Mecha made their way into Tower. Yep, Tower. And is going to check all the chests here.
Ravlin's going to be very excited, I hope, to see that both of these fights are not that difficult. And Ravlin will come out of it with a nice shiny cane, having never once touched Edward.
Yep, gonna fill out that party finally. Interested to see what Mecha finds here in the tower. Kabahi, meanwhile, fighting some mobiles, as everyone's familiar with from Final Fantasy.
It's weird. I recall them having a different name. Character limits do mess with some of our old standbys. Bet you never knew that they were mobiles.
Yeah, and our favorite old Final Fantasies, the different fonts used by the Japanese type takes up a lot less space to say words than typical English, and so character space was always kind of at a premium when they did the English translation of these games.
And that right there is why Edward is not Gilbert. The more you know.
That is true. Dun, 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 dun.
Let's go for a quick recap. I see that Mecha did find the trap chest in the Tower of Babel. Actually, there might be more than one.
And they got the adamant for their trouble.
Ah, very good. I mean, not very good. That's not what we want to see at all. But at least it's a key item.
Yeah, at least it knocks out one potential key item.
We really are very light on opportunities here. There aren't that many more spots that you can really go at this point.
Yeah.
Starting to wonder what the Tower of Babel boss is going to be. Ooh, an Excalibur. Not terribly useful.
Not potentially very useful in this current set. Not many characters can take advantage of that. It's a good throw for Edge and fantastic weapon for Cecil, neither of which are currently in play. I think, depending on how the Tower of Babel goes here, I think we may see some more potential rabbit hole key items like Twin Harp or Earth Crystal to kind of.
Twin Harp would be fantastic.
Wouldn't be too bad. Luca Key wouldn't hurt.
Luca Key it'd be fine. It only opens up one key item behind a somewhat tricky boss. But like I said, we are running low on options. No one has actually beaten up Leviathan and Ashura, so those are both in play.
Yeah, if we find Baron as well, the Baron key item will be in play as well as Odin.
Ooh, a staff. It's just single staff. I did not even know that was in the pool. Yeah, it's a moon boss. Looks like the evil wall is the boss that we're never going to see up in the top place of... That's not necessarily true. There are 2 chests below that boss. Oh, wouldn't that be exciting?
Mm.
So here you go. You have the trap chest up on the top of the overworld of Babel, which requires a hook to get to. The 2 chests below those bosses. That's just mean.
That could be. Mechalink is running into plague here, so going to have to.
Now hold on.
Quickly... Yeah.
While we were talking, it appears that Rex found the darkness crystal.
Oh, I totally. Where did you find that? Did anybody in chat help us out?
I'm gonna call out to our tracker here. So that means Rex sneakily was in go mode.
Yeah, jumped right in the league.
And that is K3. Feymarch Trap Chest had it. Really, and I see that Kabahi just got it too. Not strange. I wasn't paying attention to that because I thought we had already checked that, but we never did.
Yep, all of our runners had initially skipped it, but Rex going for it. And really paid off for him. So going straight to the moon. Potentially, probably looking maybe for a Tele replacement. Not going to the moon, going straight to the Giant of Babel.
Yeah, with Tela in your party, you can do the D-Machine grind, because after Ordeals, Tela is guaranteed to have weak. But you can see here, we were talking about way back when Kabahi is deciding to do a few eggs, breaking a few eggs, I guess, so to speak. Oh, I see a Twin Harp. Oh.
That could be a potential rabbit hole.
Yeah, that's the rabbit hole. It would not surprise me at all for Mechalink to go right after that.
Hopefully remembers to go back to the Land of Summons and recheck it, but may opt not to.
I can't imagine that he would. I mean, it's only one item down there. I mean, it's close by, so
close by,
there's
and
a chance.
Pretty quick, but yeah, there's also the 2 summon bosses there too, so he's got some reasons to go there if he feels like he can take it down quickly. Kabahi not getting the Lunar Whale, and Rex making their way down the the long way through to potentially some D machine grind real quick before finishing up.
If Rex is going to do a D machine grind, we're going to see a reset, and I believe we see a reset.
There it is.
We do.
So yeah, I highly recommend paying attention to Rex roll here if you want a quick primer on doing the D machine grind.
The most important thing is to remember to turn encounters back on. I don't recall seeing Rex do that. I saw him do that. See if he remembers. Rex might be moving around a while, wondering what. Yeah,
and he remembers.
No.
He's probably gonna reset and then do it. Yep.
But
and remembers.
There we go. Whew. We do have a race though. Kabahi may not opt to do this grind.
Yeah, having busted some omelets is in a much better position here. May test the boss first before attempting that grind.
And we've already seen from Kabahi that Kabahi is extremely adept. We'll say adept at taking on bosses that really should not be taken on. So it would not surprise me in the least to see Kabahi go straight into the boss and skip the grind.
Definitely has the fortitude to check at the very least. So not afraid to shy away from it. We're about to see.
So meanwhile, we have Rex doing the D machine grind, using the Quake to get rid of the 2 beamers. The Searcher's going to call in a machine dragon. I guess that's what that's supposed to be.
Yep.
Cast weak on the machine dragon. Fire is a percentage-based spell. Always does a certain percent of your HP. Weak always brings you down to 1 or 2 HP.
So what you're going to see here is attempt to quickly, unfortunately didn't get it in time, but ideally because unfortunately Fusia doesn't have the life spell, ideally what you would like to see in that spot is what we call the vitality glitch, which is if they can get where they cast life on D Machine right before it dies, but where it's available to be selected, then they'll immediately cast life on D Machine after it dies. The game will recognize it as being resurrected and basically immediately kill. So they basically get double the experience for the 1 D Machine.
That's a very good technique there. Now, I'm noticing that Mechalink got the Darkness Crystal and didn't immediately leave. There we go. No? Mechalink, this is V2. You're good. You can go. But, it doesn't hurt to just
checking just in case. Seeing what's available.
Meanwhile, we have Yang in the element spot, and this is a tough fight. Yang is very fast. He's going to hit very hard. And in the element spot, I might take that back. He's not hitting that hard. But in the element spot, he's going to have a lot of HP.
Really depends on who he hits at this point. Porum and Tella are going to have a hard time taking hits from him. But, Fusia, Sid, and Kane can probably absorb him pretty well. I didn't notice what items that he had equipped on Porum, so that might be a factor here. But that HP pool is going to be pretty high, so going to have to hit pretty hard with Fusia to try to take this down. Taking Tella down there, which is unfortunate. Rex Raw, meanwhile, just running a class on the D Machine fights here, showing out how to properly do that.
Well, there is one problem, and that is if you run out of MP.
Yeah, did not notice how many ethers he has available to him, so that could definitely come into play here. Unfortunately, King getting knocked right back down. Already running low on MP for Fusia. Not ethering him yet, so he may not have any available.
So right here on Rex's side, this is where things get really hairy. And that D Machine is relentless. And yeah, he's just going to elect to opt out of that fight. It's unfortunate.
Yeah, it requires some pretty precise timing, and it can really bite you if D Machine is able to get some of those attacks off.
We should mention that while we've been doing this, we do have 4 people who have finished. Nirm has finished just sub 1 hour at 59:39. Night Deuce finished in 101 in second place. Magus, El Magus, has finished in third with 107, and Supremacy right behind El Magus at 107.56. El Magus was 107.32. So,
GG and congrats to our runners. Fantastic times. Well done.
And thanks for Night Dew for popping into chat and reminding me I should check.
Yeah, I had it open, and apparently my my chat wasn't scrolling down, so I missed it. So thank you, Night Dew, for that call out.
So we can see Mecha Link going into the giant now. Ravelin's still looking through those Sylph chests. There's a lot of them, 7.
Unfortunately, Mecha Link did not fall for the Twin Harp rabbit hole. Hopefully, Ravelin will make their way to the Land of Summons soon as well.
Now, Kawahi did not make it through that. Or no,
yeah, did not. Apadarisa did not have enough ethers available to make his way through that. So it's going to be a little more efficient than what he has available.
Of our 4 featured runners, we do have Rex still doing the grind. Going to see if Mecha Link elects to do the D-Machine grind. Kawahi's giving Yang another shot.
Yeah, as I thought, I was going to opt to start blanking characters to be able to better absorb the physical attacks from the great Karate Man.
What style of karate does? Oh, that's kind of silly, isn't it? What style of kung fu? Oh, is it a crane kick?
I believe Yang practices the limb flailing variety.
Nah, he practices the sneezing variety. They call him Sneezing Crow. I don't know where Crow came from.
Mecha Link, following Kawahi's lead here, is not doing the D-Machine grind, is opting to take on the great Karate Man himself and see if he can take him out as well. Everyone will indeed be kung fu fighting tonight.
But karate's not kung fu.
While we have a lull here, being casual plug Dave, I have to mention, feel free to check us out at ff4-free-enterprise.com. We have a fantastic community. If you're interested in possibly running this randomizer yourself, it is very open to new people, and our Discord is very helpful. So get in there, join us. We would love to have you, and are happy to help you get started.
Absolutely. Any questions are welcome in the Discord. And again, you definitely don't have to start with flags quite as hard as this one. I will say, normally, karate or yang is pretty fast. Not sure if I would say he's fast as lightning, but
Kawahi definitely coming in with expert timing.
In this spot, he is certainly a little bit frightening. I'm stealing this from chat. I can't take credit for this.
Yeah. I'd love to say we're clever. Chat's got us beat. Ravelin's still making their way through Sylph Cave. Hopefully, can find their way to the Land of Summons now. We have 3 people taking on the Great Karate Man.
In a V2 seed, this is the hard spot. The CPU spot, oh, very good. Kawahi takes
taking him down.
Man. Not quite GG. The next spot can be very difficult.
Notice those blinks coming into play here. It's because Karate Man is dealing basically nothing but physical damage. So the advantage to that is casting blink on our characters here is going to make them temporarily immune to physical damage. And it's just a matter of outlasting him at that point.
Yep.
Kawahi making the time to go back for a safety save is a very, very smart move there. Potentially using a tent or a cabin if available too.
Yep, and I do see a question in chat, which is being answered as I speak. How are pink tails obtained? Pink tail is a random item that you can get in place of a key item.
Yep, it is a random key item in the pool that gives you the adamant armor when turned in.
Of course, you do need the hook to turn it in, and the hook is
also random key item.
Probably on the moon somewhere.
In this run, very potentially, yeah.
And as Melee Wizard points out, yeah, you can obtain them the hard way if you want, but I can't imagine the advantage that gives you in a race being useful.
Yeah,
Let's see our final boss.
People try to grind it. All right, gonna see our first appearance in the CPU slot. And it's the Elements fight. This could be advantageous and hurtful in a lot of ways. It's going to have a lot of HP, a lot of potential damage output here, but with elemental weaknesses in play, going to have a lot of strats that could be used here. Tella immediately going down.
That's normal. Tella can eat the floor, and I'm sure, I don't think that he'll get picked up. We'll see them.
Sweet, sweet French vanilla elements.
Oh, yes. I think they actually have less HP in this spot than they would in their normal spot. So why is it French vanilla? No, I mean, I know why, but what makes it French vanilla? Is it the eggs?
It's just the amount of in play, I guess.
Did you see Kane take a hit from that Valhalis? Oh, that is
GG. And GG for Kabahi.
Yeah, and Invenerable coming in with the knowledge, 24,000 versus 93,000. So, yeah, I would not expect Mecha Link to have much trouble with the fight, although he did just heal Rubicante. That's unfortunate.
Kabahi, featured runner, finishing in 5th place with a time of 1 hour, 16 minutes, and 27 seconds. GG to Kabahi. Mecha Link, unfortunately, having to do a reset here. It's going to reset up the fight.
Thankfully, did take that safety save.
It is always fantastic to see our featured runners running this closely. Raveling, unfortunately, kind of down the rabbit hole here. Maybe forgetting the summon chests and is kind of hunting around. Potentially double checking to see if he missed a trap chest in Ablon.
All right, and I see we have our first place winner, Kabahi, waiting. Just add in Kabahi, and GG's to you, Kabahi.
Thank you. A little rough there at the end, but got there.
Yeah,
well
overall, you did very well. You were the first of our featured runners to find that magma key.
I just want to do a quick call out to Mecha Link, GG, 7th place with a time of 1:18:03. Yunus slightly sniped him with 6th place with a time of 1:17:47. So yeah, that was a pretty interesting seat, Kabahi. What were some of the your feelings and challenges while you were running it?
I think the main challenge was just the studying characters. You didn't have much for damage, so I had to find a couple items in shops and found the hourglasses and coffins and decided to go to Eblon to hope for something for characters or the magma key like it happened.
Yeah, that definitely seemed to be a sticking point for our featured runners here, especially like Baron Castle. Kenazo definitely gave people a lot of fits and really struggled with those early bosses. But you definitely recovered from that really well, and going to Eblon that quickly was a great choice.
Yeah, well, I did some leveling with sirens that I bought in the Underworld before I even went to the Baron Inn, so that was no problem for me.
Yeah, and it really shows just how well that early grinding can pay off. Just making quicker work of those fights can make all the difference in the world. Yeah, how did you feel about the giant there at the end? Yeah, running into those 4 elements, that was pretty lucky.
I was actually more scared at the start of the fight, and then when I was actually scared because my cane saw the Avenger on, and he hit him a couple times and transformed, I'm like, oh, this isn't going to be too bad. Yang was a harder fight than the elements.
Yeah, the unfortunate part about the elements being there is that it's effectively cut the HP pool significantly, making that an easier fight. And yeah, Kane of the Avenger was definitely risky, but
I meant to take it off between fights, and I just completely forgot.
we all do it.
It's one of the dangers of the Avenger for sure. I also did want to call out Hippos just finished in 8th place, got a time of 1:19.46.
I just want to thank you for joining us, Kabahi GG, on a good race, and you have a great night, okay?
Alright, thanks.
Alright, we're going to pull in Mecha Link here. GG Mecha, well done.
GG's.
Yeah, what were your feelings on that seat? That was a pretty rough one.
It wasn't so bad. I mean, I took a couple of paths that were high on chess but didn't really pan out, which is unfortunate. Didn't even get to 10 key items, which is kind of weird for the number of chests we opened.
What were some of your biggest challenges you were running into?
Let's see. The early start, figuring out exactly when to go for Fusoya.
Yeah, that definitely seemed to be a challenge for everyone involved. Baronin gave people some fits there.
Yeah, it wasn't unbeatable. It was just kind of when did you go for it, right? Let's see, other things. The K3 S3 is really weird because the shops are as good as the chests, but we're used to checking chests, and so I'm really not sure how that plays out. Sorry, not K. S3.
T3 S3, you're saying?
Yeah, sorry. S3 is just a little weird because the shops are as good as the chests. There were kind of a lot of forks you could go down. Magma being in a Eblon chest, and then Pan being behind Sheila. Always, I mean, I picked the right path to actually use that Pan, but it didn't end up helping any.
Yeah, that K3 flight really does throw some.
Yeah, and Babel is always awkward in K3 because, like, it's 5 chests, but you have to walk it out if you don't have tower. Then if you don't have tower, you might end up going back. So, like, it's high value, but it's a little slow, and so I'm not really sure how to feel about Babel.
Yeah, high risk, high reward.
Once I started seeing people finish, I knew that it was going to be in kind of what I considered Tier 1, which is to say, like, stuff that's underworldy. Or like just behind one gate, right? Like, and so it was kind of, okay, let's go check the stuff that, let's check summon monsters, right?
Yeah.
Like that's like the place that kind of stands out as the easiest, but also kind of, because like one solve was quickly followed by a few more, right? So it's like, this isn't just like somebody followed the perfect path. It's, a reasonable place all around.
Yeah, for sure. Well, GG again, Mecha. I just want to thank you for joining us, and well done race, and you have a great evening, okay?
Yeah, thank you.
GG, Mecha.
GG's.
I just wanted to take a quick moment to call out Big Duncan and Chokoshura tying in 9th place with 1 hour, 21 minutes, 6 seconds. Our featured runner, Rick Strahl, getting ready to join us for an interview, finished in 11th with 1:21.29. Dragus finishing in 12th with 1:21.41. Greffrey, I hope I'm pronouncing that correct, 13th place with 1:23.03, and Joey finishing in 14th with a time of 1:23.57. That was definitely an interesting seed. Rex, how'd you feel about it?
Oh, that was well, I made some goofs, but other than that, I had a fun time. That overworld was rough, wasn't it?
Oh yeah, it definitely gave all of our runners some fits. Baron N definitely was causing people some problems. Ordeals was definitely not easy. This was definitely a challenging opening leg for all of our runners involved. You seemed to deal with it pretty well. You bounced it back really quickly and managed to make a good time out of it. So, well done there. Yeah,
and then I kind of lost whatever advantage I might have had by doing a wipe on the dragon grind. Like, that was I didn't realize that my Fusia didn't have weak or either life spell at that point.
Yeah, that
Got
kind of.
two bosses left for full power. Like, ooh, that was
Yeah,
rough.
who would ever suspected that would be one of the last things to get? That was definitely a hard hit.
But relatively speaking, the last two bosses weren't that tough. So
Yeah, not
compared
too
to
bad
the
at
early
all.
part of the seed, that is.
How'd you feel about that? The last boss fights there, Karate Man and Elements.
Well, having 3 casters of white magic so you can blink up everyone for the Karate Man was not that tough. It was a little bit long because I didn't have very good weapons. Like I was using an assassin dagger with Kane. But I think Porum with the Artemis arrows was probably my best melee person for a lot of the race.
I believe it. Elements was kind of a boon too, having that lower HP pool and a normal 90k spot was pretty lucky as well.
Yeah, and having Nuke to complement everything else made it not that tough. At least that it wasn't a tough high magic defense spot or anything like that.
Yeah, it was definitely a fun race. You were the third of our featured runners to finish. Definitely a close race for our runners, so it was really entertaining to watch. Really appreciate you taking the time out to join us, Rex.
Thanks.
You have a great night, okay?
You too.
All right, definitely GG's to all of our featured runners. Well, Ravlin is still going through these halls of Babel looking for that darkness crystal. But Kabahi, Mechalink, Rexral all finishing up in very good times.
Yeah, Ravelin, unfortunately, getting kind of drawn down the rabbit hole here, which can easily happen with randomizers like this. Hopefully remembers to make their way down to the land of summons very soon.
Although, if Ravelin is going to go check out that Twin Harp, I might be inclined to give that a listen.
Yeah, what we're going to do, we're going to go ahead and finish this broadcast very shortly. What we're going to do is go ahead and we're going to raid Ravelin Base stream. Jump in there and give him support, help him finish up. Of course, in case he doesn't have his chat set, please do not give him any spoilers. But yeah, we're going to go ahead and raid Ravelin Bay and hop in there, give him our support, and he's going to finish in no time, I have no doubt.
Oh,
So
yeah,
thanks,
I'm sure.
Thanks,
And,
everyone. I'm sorry, go ahead.
No, it's just going to do what I think you were about to do, which is the call-outs. Thank you so much for our restreamer here. We have Dad-Eye Guy. Did I say that right?
I think so.
I'm gonna say yes. And of course, thank you to Casual Geek Dave, who is co-commentating with me.
Yeah, thank you, Jam. It was really a pleasure. I enjoyed it. I want to thank our tracker, Melee Wizard. You did a fantastic job. Thanks for tracking for us. Shala in the chat was very useful to both our tracker and us during this, so always love to give Shala some love. So definitely give Shala some hype in chat. Thank you for your assistance. And
do make sure to follow these runners. You were entertained by him tonight. They put on a great show for us, so give them a follow. And check out this randomizer. If you're not in the community and you like what you see, you're curious about playing this game randomized, you should definitely give a check out on that ff4-free-enterprise.com or the Discord, which is also linked in chat.
Yeah, we have a fantastic community, very open, very welcome to new people. Me and Jam can definitely speak. We're both relatively new to this community. This is our, his first time commentating with us. I've been recently starting commentating with us. Very open to new people, and just a fantastic community. Can't say enough how welcoming and positive everyone is. So we would love to have you come in, join us, and this is the end for us. We're signing off for the night, but just have a great evening, everyone, and get some good times.
Absolutely good times, and let's go cheer on Ravlin.